Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah. Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Wassalatu wassalam ala ashrafil mursaleen. Nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Okay, so all praise is due to Allah, and may He send His peace and blessings on His final messenger Muhammad. Today we are going to start to learn about a very important subject, which is purification. In Arabic, it is called Tahara. Tahara. And the purification, actually, we would normally learn about this before the Salah. But since we started with the Salah, we skipped over Tahara. So now we're going to go back to it and learn about the different rulings pertaining to purification. And purification is important because without the purification, then you cannot perform the prayers and you can't perform tawaf if you're doing Umrah or Hajj. So it is a condition for some of the acts of worship. Most importantly, of course, is the Salah. There's a difference of opinion on whether the purification, the Tahara, is a condition or if it is necessary in order to touch the Mus'haf, the Quran, the one that is only Arabic, not the one that has English translation. Most of the scholars, including all four of the imams of the schools of Fiqh, they said that it is a condition. You have to have Wudu in order to touch the Mus'haf. However, there are other scholars who say that you don't have to have Wudu in order to touch the Mus'haf. But most importantly, it is a condition for the Salah. So we must learn about this. So let me just share my screen here. Let's see here. Okay. Share screen. Let's see.
The green button at the bottom.
Yeah, I see that, but I was just, I'm going to try this one. Okay, all right. So let's see. Okay. At-Tahara. At-Tahara. Okay, this is purification. And we're gonna write some notes here to help us with the Arabic. So let's see. Yes, no. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. Minimize this. And then I want this is not cooperating with me. Hold on one second. There it is. Okay. So I'll put this one here and this one here. Okay. All right. And I'll just expand this here. Okay. So Tahara means purification. And let's see here. There we go. So purification, what does it mean? So in the Arabic language, purification means cleansing from or cleansing and getting rid of any filth or dirt and that's the meaning in Arabic, just the general meaning of the word at-tahara. But this word, it has an even more specific meaning when we talk about the Sharia meaning of the word at-tahara. So it is split up into two categories, okay? So you have tahara, the purification, the meaning of it, not in a physical sense, but in a more of a general sense that you can use when you talk about, for example, the purification or cleansing, not physically, but more spiritually, like cleaning yourself from the dirt and the filth of shirk and disbelief, all these things, all these ideas and beliefs that people hold and they have in their heart that is that makes someone out of the fold of Islam, and that makes him a disbeliever, it makes him a polytheist or atheist, or whatever. This is also obviously dirt that needs to be cleansed and purified. So this is the first category, the first meaning, the first category of purification. It is the general meaning of purification. So it says here, it is the purification of the heart from setting up partners with Allah or from disbelieving in Allah. So we'll just put, for example, cleaning of the heart of shirk and disbelief in Allah. Okay, this has to come before you can even start to talk about wudu and the ghusl and things like that. Someone has to take the shahada, make the testimony of faith to enter into Islam. This is the most important category of purification, because without that, then the other purification, it won't mean anything. So Allah says in the Quran, "Innamal mushrikuna najas." Indeed, the polytheists, the pagans, they are najis, they are impure. And he said, وَقَالَ إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. So he said, Allah only wants to get out of you the filth of the of any type of shirk or disbelief, and he's addressing this to the Ahlul Bayt, the house of the Prophet, and specifically the wives of the Prophet. And he says, "Well, you tahirakum tathira," and he cleanses you with a thorough cleansing. So this is the meaning. This is they call it the ma'nawi definition of at-tahara. Tahara ma'nawiyya. So the second type is the one that most people are more familiar with. This is tahara hissiyya. Hissiyya, something that you can actually see, something that you can smell or touch. This is the like the physical meaning of tahara. So this is more of a physical meaning. So it means here raf'ul hadath wa zawal al khabath. So it means to raise the state of hadath. Hadath means that you are not in a state where you can make salah. You don't have wudu. So this is called al-hadath. So when you raise that state from you, and now you're able to make salah, this is tahara. So you had no wudu. You just woke up, for example, or you used the bathroom. So now you are in a state of hadath. So to raise this up off of yourself, you have to make wudu. So it says raf al hadath wa zawal al khabath. So we'll say this, we'll call it one. And now we'll talk about two. The second category is purification. And this is the tangible definition, the tangible meaning of it. Okay, so we'll say tangible. Purification. Okay, so it means to lift from yourself the state of hadath. And taking away any filth, or cleaning away any type of filth. Or dirt. Okay. So the definition of al-khabath. Wal-khabath huwa najasa. It says here, ويتوجب إزالتها من بدن المصلي وثوبه ومكانه. So this is like the physical definition of najasa, or what you can see. Like, for example, any type of, and we're going to talk about exactly what constitutes najasa, but in general, it's urine or feces or something like this that has to be removed, or else there will be you won't be able to pray in that state. So najasa is al-khabath. So al-khabath huwa najasa ويتوجب إزالتها من بدن musalli. It says you have to get rid of this from your body. If it's on your body, you have to clean it away. If it is on the place where you're going to make prostration, then you have to clean that place so you'll be able to, so that when you get down on the floor or on the ground to make the sajda, that there will not be any najasa there. and also it means your clothes. Okay, so your body, your clothes, and the place that you are going to make the salah in this, for example. Okay, so the khabath is what is it? No, what it is najasa. Najasa is anything that it's like, we'll say, urine or blood or feces, uh, vomit. I mean, things like this. It's just called najasa. Okay, so you have to clean this from. Okay, this has to be cleaned from the body, clothes, and the place where you're going to make the salah. The place where you will pray. Okay, so this is al-khabath. Khabath is a najasa. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the categories of al-hadath, aqsam al-hadath. Okay, so what is the categories of hadath? انقسم الحدث إلى قسمين، حدث أصغر وحدث أكبر. So hadath, remember hadath means that you can't pray. If you are in a state of hadath, that means you cannot pray. And according to most scholars, you cannot touch the mushaf, and you cannot make the tawaf. You can't go, if you're doing Umrah or Hajj, you can't make tawaf. These are the three things you can't do if you're in a state of hadath. So we have two states. We have hadath asghar or hadath akbar. So the first one, come back here. Okay, so the first one is hadath asghar. And asghar means minor. So minor hadath. Okay, and this is minor hadath is وهو وصف المعنوي يقوم بأعضاء الإنسان الأربعة، وهي الوجه والبد واليدان والرأس والرجلان، فيمنع من صحة الصلاة ونحوها، ويرتفع هذا الحدث بالوضوء. Okay, الحدث الأصغر. So it is the definition. So it means that in order to get out of this state of hadath al-asghar, you have to wash your hands and your face, and the face includes the rinsing out your mouth and putting water into your nose and forcing it out. Okay, and then wiping your hair, your head, wiping your head, and washing your 2 feet. Okay. If you don't wash these parts of the body, these 4 parts of the body, then that means you won't be able to pray, and you won't be able to do anything that requires wudu. So the only way to get out of this state of hadath al-asghar is to perform wudu. Okay, so we say have to perform a proper ablution. Okay. The second is Hadath al-Akbar. So we'll say Hadath al-Akbar, and it means the major Hadath. So we put major. We don't put Hadath. Okay. So وهو وصف المعنوي يقوم بالجسم كله فيمنع من صحة الصلاة وما في حكمها ويرتفع هذا الحدث بالغسل. Okay, so hadath asgar affects just the four parts of the body. Hadath al-akbar, the major hadath, it affects the whole body. So the hadath, you can think of it like this: the hadath al-asgar, it covers the four parts: the hands, the face, the head, and the feet. And al-hadath al-akbar, it means that it covers the whole body. Okay, and this is ma'nawi. This is only describing something that you can't see. So hadath is something that you can't see. It's not like dirt or filth or najasa that you can see with your eyes, or you can smell, or you can sense. Okay, this hadath is not something that you can see or feel. It's something that it's a state. It's like a state of being. Okay, where you can't perform certain acts of worship when you're in this state. So al hadath al akbar, it means that the whole body is in a state of, you can say, uncleanliness, even though it's not physically necessarily unclean, but it just means that you can't perform worship until this, you can say, spiritual dirt or something like this is removed. So in order to remove the state of hadath al-akbar, the major hadath, you have to perform a complete bath, meaning water must reach each and every part of your body. And we'll get into the exact details of that. Okay, so here is a chart of the states of the division, how they divide and categorize purification. And I'm going to try to make this same chart, but with the English, because I know that'll be more beneficial. But it is a nice way to visualize if you can't, if it helps to understand this topic. So here on your right, you have Tahara Ma'nawi, and on your left, you have Tahara Hissiya. Okay, Ma'nawiya or Hissiya. Ma'nawiya means it's just the meaning of Tahara. It's not anything that you can see or sense. It's more of a spiritual state, basically. Okay, it means cleaning out your heart from any type of shirk, any type of disbelief or crazy beliefs and innovations and stuff like that. Okay, then on the left side is Tahara Hissiya, something that you can, it's like it's tangible, it's a physical or a cleansiness that you can actually sense. Okay, and then from this, you can also, from here, they break it down further into two categories, which is Tahara Hissiya min al Hadath, and then on the left, min al Najasa. Okay, so on the right here, min al Hadath, it means to clean yourself so that you will be in a state where you can perform certain acts of worship. Okay, and then The types of hadith are hadith akbar, major hadith, and hadith al-asghar, minor hadith. And al-hadith al-akbar has to be removed, you have to lift the state of hadith from you by taking a complete bath. And al-hadith al-asghar, you have to lift the state, this spiritual state, we'll say, by making an ablution. And then tahara hissiya min najasa, it means that you have to, it means that there's physically dirt or filth on your body or on your clothes or on the place where you're going to pray. Okay. So this category right here is the only category where you can actually physically see or smell or sense the dirt or the filth. Okay. Everything else is more of a state, a spiritual state of being. Okay. So after we learn about hadith and najasa and khabath and this terminology, then we move on to the next subject, the next category of tahara, which is al-miyah. Al-miyah. Does anybody know what al-miyah means? I'll give you a hint. You can just look at the pictures on the left. The pictures here. This
water?
Nice picture. Yes, water. Okay. So we're going to learn about all the different types of water. And this is important because water is used to get rid of the hadith al-hissiyah, the tangible hadith, okay, or the tangible tahara hissiyah, okay. It's used to get rid of najasa, and it's the only way actually you can get rid of or purify something that has been in contact with any type of najasa. So ينقسم الماء في الجملة إلى قسمين: ماء الطهور وماء النجس. Okay, now this book, it aims to really simplify things, because if you go into the books of fiqh, you'll find three categories, but here they make it simply into two categories, and that is water is either it is pure or it is najis. Okay, so we're going to talk about first, so let's talk about water now. Okay. Is categorized in two categories. The first is water that purifies. It's pure and it purifies. So water that is pure and it purifies. Okay, and they call it at-tuhur. At-tuhur. That means not only is it pure, but it can also purify, because if you look into some books of fiqh, you'll find the third category called tahir. It means it is pure, but you can't purify yourself with it. So you can't use it for wudu. But here we're going to look at this. In this book, it makes it more simple and clear to understand. And it's really more pertinent to our current day situation. So the second type of water is water that is it's najis. It's impure. Okay. So impure water. Obviously, you can't use it for anything. Not even you can't use it to drink, and you can't use it for wudu. Okay. So it says the first category, al-ma'u at-tahur. وهو الماء الباقي على أصل خلقته التي خلقه الله تعالى عليها ولم يختلط بنجاسة فتغير طعمه أو لونه أو ريحه. Okay, so this is very important. So we talk about water that is pure. How do you know if water is pure? Okay, um, it is water that is still on. It still remains like Allah created. Okay, so any water still is like the way Allah created it. Okay, meaning what? It means that the color hasn't changed. So color hasn't changed. Also, the smell has not changed. Okay, so smell has not, and what's the third thing? It didn't change the way it tastes. So the taste has not changed. Okay. So that means this water has not come into any contact with najasa. Okay. Uh, with it has not mixed with anything or any type of najasa. So, what are some examples? Examples of this is كل ما نزل من السماء أو نبع من الأرض كمياه البحار والأنهار والعيون والآبار. Okay, so any type of water that rain that comes down from the sky, water that's in the ocean, water that's in the lake, water that is in a spring, or water that's in a pond, or water that's coming down from a waterfall. All this is examples of water that is pure. It's pure and it can purify. So you can use it for wudu and for ghusl. So that's what it says underneath. It says hukmuhu, the ruling of this water is that it raises the state of hadith and it gets rid of najasa. So it cleanses away najasa and it raises the state of hadith. If you use it for wudu or ghusl, that is ruling. So what the ruling is, it raises al-hadith and it gets rid of najasa. What it say? Cleanses najasa. Okay. The second type of water, impure water. Also, it has the dalil for the first category. قوله تعالى وأنزلنا من السماء ماء طهورا, and that's in Surah Al-Furqan. وقوله صلى الله عليه وسلم عن ماء البحر هو طهور ماؤه الحل ميتة. Okay, so when the Prophet ﷺ was asked about the water of the ocean or of the sea, he said the water is pure and the dead in it are permissible for eating, meaning the fish and anything that lives in the sea. If you If you catch it, even if it's dead, you can still eat it. So unlike, animals that you hunt on land, animals that you hunt in the sea, that you fish or whatever, even if it's dead, you can still eat it. Okay. Okay, so a note here says, وَلَا يَضُرُ الْمَاء مَا أَصَابَهُ مِنْ تَغْيِيرٍ. So بسبب طول المكث أو المجارة أو بما يعسر ويشق صون الماء عنه كأوراق الشجر والتحلب ونحوها. So what this means that this water, this pure water that you can use for wudu, it doesn't matter if it comes into contact with something that is pure, as long as it doesn't change the state of that water. So even if it's sitting for a long time, or if it's it says here, if, for example, if a leaf or leaves fall into the water, as long as it doesn't change, it's still pure. It can be used for wudu. Okay, so it hasn't come into contact with anything najis. Even if something that's pure falls into it and mixes with it, as long as it doesn't change the water itself, then it is still usable for wudu. Now, there is, for example, al-ma al-mutaghayyir bi tahara lahu thalatha ahwal. So there's some cases if it comes into contact with something that is pure and it changes, then there's three situations here, it says. So it says إذا اختلط الماء الطهور بشيء من الطاهرات ولم يتغير لونه ولا طعمه ولا ريحه فهو باق على طهورته لأن الماء باق على إطلاقه. Okay, so if it comes into contact with something that is pure, but nothing changes, no color changes, no smell changes, the taste doesn't change, then you can still use it for wudu. Second category, إذا اختلط الماء طهور بشيء من الطاهرات فغيره تغيرا يخرجه عن اسم الماء فهذا لا يصح الطهارة التطهر به لأنه انتقل من كونه ماء إلى شيء آخر إذ لا يسمى ماء كالشيء وعصير والمرق. Okay, so if water mixes with something that is pure, like for example oranges, and then it becomes orange juice, then in this case, you can't use it obviously for making wudu because now even the name has changed. Okay, so no one would call orange juice water, even though most of it is water, and even though the orange is pure, it's not najis, but still it changed. It changed so much that even the name of it changed. So not only did the color change, the smell change, the taste change, and now you're calling it something else. Either you're calling it, orange juice, or you're calling it tea, or you're calling it by any other name. Maraq, it's like soup. Okay. Now, the third category, إن يتغير الماء بشيء من الطاهرات ولكنه لم يخرج عن مسمى الماء كالماء الذي خالته صابون فغير لونه أو وقع فيه حمص فغير طعمه أو زعفران فغير رائحته ولكن لا يزال اسمه الماء يشمله فهي الطهارة به خلاف بين العلماء والأقرب أنه مطهر. Okay, so the third category is the water changed with something that is pure, but it didn't take it away from being called water. So, for example, let's say you use soap when you're making wudu, for example. Can you use soap with the water to make wudu? What about if you put like some za'faran, this type of flour, into the water? Or there's something called like rose water, where it looks just like water, but they put something into it. They put some type of flour into it, and it's called rose water. What about these? Now, the scholars differed. Some of them said that now you can't use it for wudu, and others said that you can. And the most authentic view, the strongest, I should say, the strongest view on this category is that it is, you can use it for wudu. So it is water that is pure. One second. Okay, so that is the three categories of water. Okay, it says here, water الماء المستعمل في رفع الحدث من وضوء والغسل طاهر في نفسه مطهر لغيره. So it is pure. This water that you use for wudu and for ghusl is pure in and of itself, and it also can purify others. It can also purify others. Okay. And then after that, we come into the category of the second category of water, which is water that is najas. Okay. So the najas, we're going to have to cover that in the next class because it's going to take some time. For this class, though, I want to just turn it over to you for any type of questions or comments. Anyone have any questions so far on Tahara?
Assalamu alaikum, Brother Isa.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.
If you this is about the wudu. If you bathe, like if to jump in the shower, after that, do you still have to do the wudu after you wash your whole body?
That depends. So if you are in a state of major hadith, okay, which means that you had a relationship with your wife, or a wet dream, or you have, for women, if they are coming off of their menses, and you take a complete bath, a complete shower where water touches everything, reaches every part of your body, then in that case you have wudu. Otherwise, you don't.
Mashallah.
Because the major if you raise the state of major hadith, then that has to raise the state of minor hadith. And we're gonna talk more about that too, because I know there may be some more like questions about that. And there's a lot of details pertaining to that. So we're gonna talk about that in detail as well, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Any other questions? Layla, any questions from Facebook or anything? Layla, you there? Let's see here.
You might have to call her on the phone.
Oh, okay. Looks like she may have stepped away.
Oh, okay. Did he finish?
We're doing questions now. Any questions from Facebook?
Okay, yeah, hold on. Let me look. I just got back. Hold on. Any questions from Facebook? Okay, here's a question. Can we drink water from a pond? Is the pond najis?
From a pond.
Pond.
Yeah.
P-O-N-D.
So if the color hasn't changed, or the taste hasn't changed, or the smell hasn't changed, then you can drink from it, inshallah.
Okay, another person, he said also from a lake too?
Yes, definitely from a lake, yes. I wouldn't recommend it though.
Okay, here's another question about pond. He said, can we make wudu from the water in the pond?
Yeah, as long as those three things haven't changed: the color, the taste, and the smell. Any other questions?
That's all from Facebook. You guys didn't have any on Zoom?
No, ma'am.
Okay, good job.
All righty. Okay, well, like I said, next week we'll continue with the water that is najis, impure water, and talk about all the rulings concerning it. All right. Subhanak Allahumma bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.